International Monetary Fund or IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva said on Thursday that new US tariffs pose a significant risk to the global outlook and urged the United States to work with its trading partners to ease tensions. This was her first statement following President Donald Trump's latest round of global tariffs, which have intensified a trade war feared to push the world into recession and increased inflation. Quote, the tariffs clearly represent a significant risk in the global outlook at a time of sluggish growth, Georgieva said in a statement. She added, it is important to avoid steps that could further harm the world economy. The IMF chief called on the United States and its trading partners to work constructively to resolve trade tensions and reduce uncertainty. This comes as the IMF prepares to release its updated global growth forecast later this month, ahead of the spring meetings in Washington. In January, the IMF projected global growth at 3.3% for 2019, below the 3.7% average growth rate of the first 2 decades of 21st century. The IMF upcoming outlook will likely focus heavily on the impact of US aggressive tariff measures. The global economy is already facing challenges from slowing growth in major markets, trade disruptions, and geopolitical tensions. Speaking of geopolitical tensions, Japan has also been affected. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba called the US tariffs on Japanese goods a national crisis as he prepared for a cross-party talks to address the situation. Trump's administration announced 24% tariff on Japanese imports, adding to the 25% on auto imports that came into effect last week. Quote, these levies can be called a national crisis, and the government is doing its best with all parties to lessen the impact, unquote, Ishiba said in Parliament. He urged a calm-headed approach to negotiations with the US. Ishiba instructed his ministers to closely examine the tariffs and consider all necessary measures, including financial support for domestic industries and protecting jobs. Canada, Mexico, and many others in the North American and South American region have already announced that they will not take the tariff sitting back and would rather retaliate. It was reported that EU or European Union is also considering a fight back to Trump's tariffs, though they have not announced exactly how yet. India ranks 36th out of 170 countries on the global index measuring readiness for frontier technologies, according to the UN's 2025 Technology and Innovation Report. This is an improvement from its 48th position in 2022. The Readiness for Frontier Technologies Index, published by UNCTAD, evaluates countries based on ICT deployment, skills, research and development activity, industrial capacity, and access to finance. The report highlights that Brazil, China, India, and the Philippines are developing countries excelling in technology readiness. Developing nations must prepare for a world increasingly shaped by AI and other emerging technologies. The report also notes that the US leads in private AI investment with $67 billion in 2023, while China and India are also notable players with $7.8 billion and $1.4 billion respectively.